Kenny Nolan came up with the song Lady Marmalade thanks to the Rolling Stones and a French dictionary. He said in the 1970s he kept seeing signs for the Rolling Stones promoting "Get your yayas out." And that's how he came up with the line, "Gitchy gitchy yaya dada." That's right.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
526, 31 degrees downtown. Got one inquiry about the roads. They were just a little wet in places. Too warm, didn't stick to the roads. The traffic light by Metra, by the Mint Car Wash at the end of 4th Avenue North, that has been out since last night. So for those of you that didn't take driver's training, that becomes a four-way stop. It won't be, but it's what it's supposed to be.
Doesn't matter today, Mark. People will be nice. They'll be waving people through.
Folks, we just tons of phone calls already this morning. People so happy and, for lack of a better word, relieved about the election. Quite interestingly, Kamala Harris did not give a concession speech last night.
No, she did not. She did not. Doesn't surprise me.
No.
Hold on a second.
Obviously, the majority of my Facebook friends vote like I do, and I'm seeing pictures of shots of tequila and whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
And people with American flag emojis. Oh, here's another funny. What do you think? Is Tester losing because he didn't buy enough advertising? Hey, Paul and I both said he spent too much time attacking Sheehy. The guy served his country. He's a freaking patriot. And you tried to make an issue. The main two reasons he shouldn't hold office was his mother didn't have him here, and he lied about taking a bullet. Had nothing to do with how he can do his job. And for all of you that listen religiously, and Paul just brought this up, no more political ads. Thank you, God. Paul and I won't be working here in 4 years during the next presidential cycle.
No.
It's going to be so much worse.
I didn't even know if we'd be able to stick it out through this one. But folks, it's a great day for America today.
Yeah.
A great day. We won one of the toughest battles this country has ever been in. No disrespect to anybody has served, but it was truly an effort of America to reclaim and retake their country, and it was evident last night. Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States, and keep in mind, folks, that the current vice president of the United States has to certify the election results on January 20th. So Kamala Harris will have to proudly announce that Donald Trump is president when they certify that in January. What, folks? What remarkable resiliency. This will go down in history, no doubt, as the greatest political comeback of all time.
Hear, hear.
No doubt. No historian can ever find another time in our history of our nation where this has happened. We have had one other time where a candidate won after skipping a term, but did not go through any of what this president had to go through. Liz Cheney, if you're anywhere around this country, I'm giving you one of these right now.
How does it feel?
Starting, folks, on January 6th, when they tried to imprison him, railroad him, blame him for fault of an insurrection, of which it was never an insurrection, of which, by the way, no charges ever came from that investigative committee. None. A committee that was railroaded, a committee that was put together like Russia. Everybody on that committee hated the man. No cross-examination, no cross-witnesses, no cross evidence. His attorneys weren't allowed there. No one. It was a railroad job to make sure that no private citizen in America could ever have a chance of getting the inside track in Washington, D.C. They had their own system. John Tester was part of it. They tried to kill the man twice. Folks, he took a bullet to the head. Now you know why.
Yeah.
They knew he was going to win. Took a bullet. 4 trials at one time. They tried to break him. John Tester, Chuck Schumer, and others tried to impeach him. They tried to freeze all his assets. The judge froze all of his businesses at one point, Trump Tower and the rest of them, told them all, put liens on them, did everything they could to deter this man. But you know what they couldn't deter? They couldn't deter the American spirit and the most powerful weapon we have, and we talked about that over the course of the years, and that was the pencil. They have been able to control everything. Hey, KTVQ, Color 8, and the Gazette, how does it taste today? Look what you did over the last 4 years. Look how you portrayed him and others, railroading him. 90% of your coverage was negative all the time. You carried the narrative. How does that taste? Come on the show. I'd love to have you on and talk to you guys about your coverage. And look how Kamala Harris and others skated freely.
Now, for those of you that didn't vote for him, I hope you spend your morning this morning calling your financial advisor and taking all of your money out of the stock market.
Yeah, that's right. They did everything they can to break, destroy, and kill this man, and they couldn't. And folks, they underestimated the resolve of people who love their country. I'm telling you, I was never so prouder of you people and the people of Montana yesterday when I drove by Metro Park at 4:30 in the afternoon. I went by there yesterday, folks, at 4:30. I hauled a bull to town and dropped him off at the stockyards. It was cold. It was miserable. The wind was blowing 40 miles an hour. And I drove by Metro Park at 4:35, 4:40. You couldn't get into that lot. The line mark from where you vote was all the way down the Metro, going Metro and up to where the main ticket window damn near was at Metro Park. People waiting out there in snow, in cold, in wind, and saying, damn it, this is too important. You guys are patriots. I tell you, it sent chills up my spine, folks, when I saw all of those people waiting there. You know how miserable it was yesterday? And they waited there because they knew what was at stake.
It was important.
Oh, my God. I'd hug every one of you if I could right now. And they stood there. They knew if we have to stay here for 2 hours, it's worth it. It's worth saving America. That's what you did yesterday. And, folks, get out the brooms. Because people were tired of the bull crap. And in Montana, they swept.
Yeah.
Never underestimate, first of all, Navy SEALs. They either win or they die. Zinke won. Downing won. Sheehy won. President Trump won. Gianforte won. Get out the brooms, folks. It's a sweep. Jon Tester sent him packing. Now, there's a lot of reasons behind it. Number one, we had a good candidate. Number two, he had aligned himself he had his head so far up Schumer's ass and the Democrat, he became one of them. He became one of the Washington, D.C. insiders. Bought $1 million home in D.C. Lobbyist cash, bought and paid for. Plus, never forget this, that Jon Tester and his party alienated every single person in Montana that moved here for a better life.
Yeah, true.
Everybody that came here to raise a family, got a job here, became a doctor and was offered a job at the Billings Clinic or at Benefice Hospital in Great Falls or any other place. People that have come here that have looked for work, came in and worked for one of the many technological companies that we have here now. All these people that have moved to Montana started raising a family and raised their children here. They alienated every one of them, telling you, you're not welcomed here.
Focal point of your advertising.
And that pissed me off because I'm one of those. I'm a transplant. I came out here in 1978, went back to college, came back, 79, been here ever since. Raised a family here. Hates me. Well, for more reasons than one.
Yeah.
But still, the focus and target of his advertising. All of you people that came here, you don't belong here. And that pissed people off. Even though Jon Tester's ancestors came from a different part of the country. Oh, and he did his damnedest. They spent $300 million trying to buy him an election, folks. $300 million. I feel bad when I get a hailstorm. I didn't lose $300 million. And how do they do it? They attack your character. They attack your reputation. They use hit media members, hit mobs, hit squads like KTVQ, In Color 8, the Billings Gazette, Mary Sheehy Schmo, who had an opinion in the paper every week.
Every Friday.
Talking trash about conservative people. Every week.
And then I read, Paul, part of the story yesterday that the paper published about themselves, talking about they're the main ones in this community bringing things back to the middle and being more fair.
They sure as the hell are.
It's a busy month at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and the Roadside Event Center. November 17th, sports fans, join us for the Cat and Grizz Sweet Sundries Cookie Class. Have a blast creating unique holiday treats. November 23rd, it's Glow Bingo with DJ Dave Austin. A fun-filled night with lots of lights and the chance to win big. Cooler temps call for the Cat's warm bread bowls with homemade soup. Don't miss prime rib Saturdays and sushi and sliders on Sunday nights. The Blue Cat Bar and Grill in Huntley, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
So what does President Trump do when he wins? He goes out last night and he doesn't talk about war. He doesn't talk about retribution against Democrats. He doesn't talk about imprisoning all of his opponents like they tried to do.
Right.
Nope. What President Trump, or future President Trump, talked about last night was the golden age of America. That's what he talked about. The golden age. That's right. The golden age for everyone in America. That's what he's concentrating on. That's what he's going to do. He's got 4 years to do it. He's got control of the Senate now. Still too early to tell about control of the House, but if he gets the House, he can get a lot of stuff done in the first 2 years. He can fix things. Black men in America turned out in record numbers for Donald Trump. No candidate has done that before. None. Won areas of the country that used to be Democratic strongholds. Won them as well. People felt it in their pocket. They felt it when they applied for jobs. They felt it when they tried to find a house. People said no. But you folks are patriots. I'm telling you, I've never been so proud of the people of this state when I saw you in that line yesterday. Because I was out in it yesterday afternoon, and it was miserable. And you stood there for hours waiting because you knew how important it was. And boy, did you let your voice be heard, loud and clear. You let KTVQ and Color 8 and the Gazette know. You let all the major news media outlets around the country, you let them know. It was a bad day for mainstream media in America.
Yeah.
You did everything you could trying to influence and lie and weasel your way. Relentless in your attacks on this man. With 95% of all the coverages from everywhere negative, constantly pounding this man.
For years. Never before have you seen a man campaigned against.
Right.
For years.
Even after Biden took the oath of office, they still didn't let up on that man. They never wanted to happen again. And boy, is he going to clean house. Our agencies will once again be agencies for the people, not the party. The FBI, the CIA, FEMA, our Secret Service division. He knows the job in front of him because he's been there before. This will be a more effective term than his first one. He had to learn the ropes.
Right.
He knows the ropes going in. Other nations now know. Iran's currency tanked to an all-time low this morning. Guess what? Yabba dabba doo. You're getting one up your ass too, unless you start straightening out. Well, I'm serious, Wilson.
And you're right.
They know. But you people are patriots. Dang. I mean, it sent chills looking at that. There's no way I would have imagined anybody be standing out in that ruthless, god-awful weather, dust and snow and wind chill factors, and standing there for hours waiting to get in just to circle an oval.
Yeah. I talked to people earlier in the day. One guy had been there an hour and 40 minutes. I said, why'd you stay? He goes, it's too important.
You got that right. They knew.
Yeah.
It was amazing. They knew they had to take their country back.
And he said, don't you want to know how I voted? I said, I know how you voted. See, you wouldn't have stood out there for an hour and 40 minutes if you voted the wrong way.
When I saw that yesterday, I knew that Tester was going to lose. If there wouldn't have been a line and there would have been half a parking lot full, control. That's what he wanted.
Yeah. If there was apathy, but no.
I knew he was in big doo-doo. Big doo-doo. Last night when I went to bed about 9:45, and nothing had still been called yet. And I was getting tired, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do like I do at Cavan. I'm gonna get up every 2 hours. So I did, Wilson. So I went to bed about 9:45, and then I got up at about midnight, and went out, flipped it on, and at that point it looked like we had it. And so I went back to bed, and I got up about 2, and I looked at my phone, and I saw that they had declared Trump the winner. So wins Georgia, North Carolina. He won Pennsylvania. He won Pennsylvania, folks, and Philly is in Pennsylvania. You know who's happier than Donald Trump today? I can tell you, folks, who's happier than Donald Trump today. Joe Biden. Joe Biden is happier than Donald Trump today because they threw him out. And Joe Biden swore that he could beat Donald Trump. And Joe Biden, folks, whether you know this or not, this man loathed Barack Obama, and he did not like Kamala Harris. He only picked her to win the presidency. They did not get along. Remember the attacks on Joe Biden from her during the only primary that she ran in.
Right.
Racist, womanizing, segregationist. He did not like her. He did not like him and Obama. They hate each other. All the books have been written about it. And they threw him out, and he's happy that they decided to do that. But Joe Biden's also having a bad day because now, folks, the books are going to be opened.
That's true.
The books are going to be opened on the things that happened in the past with Joe Biden. That's right. And his crooked-ass son, Hunter. We're going to find out about the money laundering, the money coming in from China, the Ukraine, and others. We're going to find that out. Hell, we may even be able to find out whose bag of cocaine that was. Because none of America has any clue where that came from. The evidence was destroyed. Why did they destroy it? Because they knew what was on the evidence. We may find stuff like that out down the road, but they're going to have to clean house. And I know it's a long ways away, and I know it's too early to think about it, but if Donald Trump can turn America around, and I have faith that he will with the Senate, and if he gets Congress, and he can put more money in your pocket, and he can get government out of your homes and out of your bedrooms and out of your vehicles and out of everything, and he can cut regulation, and he can get this great American industrialized engine rolling again at peak performance, it will lay the groundwork for J.D. Vance.
Very true.
To hand the ball off to him and let him take it into the end zone. I'm just saying, I know it's down the road, but...
Well, and that is partially, and you didn't hear much talk about it, but it's something American voters want. They want some younger candidates. They want some new blood.
This anti-Semitic hate of Jewish people from the Democratic Party, that weighed in on the election. And yet you didn't hear about that, did you? About the anti-Semitic views of the Democratic candidates and their approach to Israel. Israel is doing the dirty work of the world. Bad news, Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda. Bad news. Bad news for you. Yabba dabba doo. And I hope down the road, President Trump tells Al-Qaeda, hey, guess what? You're on our Air Force base. Please leave. And he takes it back. That is the most modern, up-to-date, beautiful military air base in the world, strategically placed. There's all kinds of things. You folks that earn tips, guess what? You're going to be able to keep all of them. I'll guarantee you that'll pass.
That's right.
If he can get control of the House. There's no way that Democrats would go against letting some of the hardest working people, waitresses. Mark, your mom was a waitress. Busted her ass, relied on tips.
Right.
There's no way that party could say, no, we want to take part of your tip money for your extra hard work. That's going to change. If you're in the natural resource business, mining, energy development was a great day for you yesterday.
That's right.
Great day for consumers yesterday. President Trump's not going to abandon, folks, new energy development. In fact, he's going to encourage it, but he's not going to penalize the old energy that the world world still needs to survive and keep the economic machines rolling. He's smarter than that. He doesn't owe donors anything. John Tester, if he would have been elected, folks, he would have owed those people that put $300 million into his campaign. I'm happy for Tim Sheehy. Tim Sheehy didn't need this job. Tim Sheehy's a lot like Donald Trump. He didn't need this job. He had everything in the world that he could possibly have wanted. Got a beautiful ranch, got a business, got a wonderful wife, a beautiful family, served his country. He's been serving America, folks, since he's 18 years old. He didn't need it, but he knew what was at stake, like any man that goes into our U.S. military. By the way, if you're a veteran, all you a-holes that did nothing but blast President Trump and Tim Sheehy, guess what? You're going to have better years ahead.
Very true.
Even though you were critical, they're going to help you. Donald Trump did more for veterans than Joe Biden never thought of doing. Remember Donald Trump? Remember some of the legislation that he signed, folks? Where if VA clinics and things were so crowded and so busy, you couldn't get in there, you could go to private doctors to get your care. He's going to take care of you. It's going to get better, even though you blasted him. You think Tim Sheehy doesn't care about veterans? John Tester's been in charge of that committee for God knows how many years. And look at you. Look at what situation you're in. Donors, lobbyists, cash. That's his loyalty. They threw him out. You threw him out. You patriots threw him out. We didn't have to fire a shot to take our country back.
I know.
All we had to do was circle the oval. And, of course, AP already starts their rhetoric this morning.
Well, of course.
They already started, folks. He hasn't even been inaugurated yet, and they're already attacking him.
It's a busy month at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and the Roadside Event Center. November 17th, sports fans, join us for the Cat and Grizz Sweet Sundries Cookie Class. Have a blast creating unique holiday treats. November 23rd, it's Glow Bingo with DJ Dave Austin. A fun-filled night with lots of lights and the chance to win big. Cooler temps call for the Cat's warm bread bowls with homemade soup. Don't miss prime rib Saturdays and sushi and sliders on Sunday nights. The Blue Cat Bar and Grill in Huntley, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
No information yet on what Russian President Vladimir Putin is going to say to Donald Trump. Listen to this. You're relentless. Didn't you people learn your lesson? You got your ass kicked, and you're going to go back in and fight again? We weren't that stupid as kids, Mark, when we got beat up.
I only got beat up once.
You didn't go back to the toughest guy and piss him off again.
Right.
That's what they're doing. As of this morning, there were still about 50 House races around the country that they're still trying to wrap up. Now, let's not let our guard down. Let's keep our people in place. And folks, those are the ones that we have to watch, because those are the ones, now that the big prize has already been taken with the Senate and the presidency, those are the ones we have to double down on and make sure our security measures are in place, because that could be very, very important. Trump won Wisconsin. He won that late last night. Big win there. Georgia, North Carolina. Republicans flipped a House seat in Michigan. That was big for them. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's already weighed in, said he appreciates Donald Trump's commitment to peace through strength. He's going to work on that. Too many men have died. Too many people have lost their homes. Too much of the nation's been destroyed under these last two. Europe's top official said they're looking forward to working with Trump again. NATO said they're looking forward to working with Trump. They better. Remember, he made them pay their fair share last time.
That's right.
China has just been put on notice, too, by Trump winning. You know, Harris and Biden, folks, they kept all of the Chinese tariffs that were in place that President Trump put on their goods, and they added to them. They knew that was great policy. They kept the Trump policy there. Iowa, there was a story earlier in the week about Iowa. Iowa was flipping blue. They were expected to win by 10%. Guess what? President Trump won Iowa by 10%.
That's why you can never look at the polls.
You know why? Because you can't take thousands of factory workers from John Deere and give them pink slips and send your factories to Mexico. Not in Iowa.
No.
Same with North Carolina. The FEMA response, all that, all weighed in. Trump said, look, we need to put these divisions of the past 4 years behind us. Folks, here is a man, I tell you, I couldn't do that. You know my personality.
It would be hard.
The attacks, the millions. Somebody tried to blow my head off, and yet he's reaching out to everyone with a hand of, let's Now move forward. Let's join together. I couldn't do that. He did. Talking about the golden age of America to come. We have to put our country first. We have to fix it. He's reaching out across the aisle. You know, he's going to have Kennedy help lead America to try to make us healthier. A chronic problem. Yesterday, I looked up the numbers of disabled and people with chronic diseases in America, and I was in here going ballistic. Mark says, Paul, would you turn that off? Quit it. And he's going to try to fix that. Make America healthier again. He vowed to fight for your family. Make everyone prosperous. Republicans yesterday celebrated of the record turnout for Donald Trump from black and Hispanic voters. That's right. A man who talks about, once again, protecting our culture and our borders from foreign influence and invasions of people that have not been properly vetted or people that should not be here, that do it illegally. The door is open for people who want to do it the right way and legally. He's going to put an end to that. And yet his popularity went up with Hispanics who believe the same thing. Why? They're good, hardworking, family-oriented people who have been attacked, who have been used by people on the left, calling these racist and misogynistic people, supported him in record numbers. Record numbers. When it's all over, Trump will have received more than 20% of all the black vote in America, and it's even higher among black men, who President Obama and Kamala Harris relentlessly attacked them for supporting Donald Trump.
True.
Because of their color. Those jobs have been taken by illegals that a lot of those people fill. Housing has been made more difficult because of the invasion of the border. They know that. They felt it. They felt it. You know, there's probably a lot of Democrats in the country right now that are all thinking to themselves, you know, if we would have had a primary, we may have had a better candidate.
You didn't have a good candidate, and your people knew it.
We may have had a better candidate. You know, a lot of up-and-coming Democrats who would have possibly taken a run at the White House, but yet Joe Biden won all the primaries, and they threw him out because of a bad debate. Everybody knew about his cognitive ability and his pre-dementia type state that he was in, and they covered for him. The media did. John Tester, he was the sharpest guy. Whenever I dealt with him, you know.
Dedicated a complete TV commercial to his health.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
I don't talk to him every day, but he's fine.
And they threw him out, and John Tester led the charge to do it. The first senator that called for him to step down was John Tester. So I feel sorry for Democrats because they had no say in who got to run for president.
True.
None. Zero. You had no say. You may have liked some of the up-and-comers. You may have liked Amy Klobuchar. You may have voted for Kennedy. You may have voted for go down the list who would have made a run at it, but yet you didn't have a choice. Your party decided for you who was going to be your candidate. But this is a political comeback of the ages, no doubt about it. Tampon Tim, he can go home to Minnesota now. Iran's currency falls to an all-time low last night. I mean, it's already... You can already feel it with the leaders coming in from around the world. They know that the world is going to change now.
Well, because we got backbone back in the office.
Republicans taking the Senate, though, is big. And I'll tell you another reason why that's big. It's big because now all of his cabinet members can be appointed and can be confirmed. Who he wants on his cabinet.
Right.
They can't stop that. They can't stop that in the Senate. Ryan Zinke wins. Troy Downing wins. Greg Gianforte wins. Tim Sheehy wins. Donald Trump wins. You won't hear any Democrats talking about the popular vote this time around.
Because their guy is not going to win it.
Because Donald Trump wins the popular vote. Overwhelmingly, that was their case. They hated the Electoral College. The Electoral College is what gave their candidate last night the best chance to win.
Yeah.
With the change here or there. Because Donald Trump got the popular vote. But America last night said, give us our country back. We want the country that we grew up with and we knew and we loved. Now, young, radical minds and skulls full of mush that have been indoctrinated and have been influenced through social media, and their college professors have no idea about America. I don't give a damn if you don't like it. You don't. You don't understand it. We were all young once, too. We were all far more liberal and crazy when we were younger. We cared about Bucks Bar and Dudley's. That's what we cared about. Right, Wilson?
Very much.
Young people's economic knowledge, scale 1 to 10, about a 2. Foreign policy knowledge, about a 2. So easily manipulated, so easily influenced at a young age, folks. You just are. By no fault of their own, but it's by our own fault. We have to start to change those institutions and change them back. The courts, the education system. Look, you folks have been in charge of education in America for the last 40 years, and look at our test scores. Look at our proficiency levels. Look at the state of education in America. That's one of the most important things that's not talked about much. We need to change that. We need a smarter, more productive, more subsistent student coming out of our educational institutions. Is all this going to change immediately? No. It's a long process. Look, it took them 40 years to get to where they got the country to this point. It's going to take a while to take America back and to reshape it. But we got a good start last night. There were some threats yesterday, some hoax and bomb threats and things around that tried to impact polling places and so forth, but they failed. They tried to legalize dope down in Florida. It failed. They weren't able to get that passed in Florida. There were about 140 different ballot measures in states across America. Several states in America passed amendments that barred non-citizens from voting. Now, that's already banned by federal law, but liberal states didn't care about the Constitution. Folks, this is a major victory for the Constitution. This is a victory for the Bill of Rights. No man in America has ever had to undergo 4 trials at one time. You're protected by our Bill of Rights, but they did that against Donald Trump. California passed a measure that strengthened penalties for certain crimes. That's right. What? Yeah. You know, they had a state attorney general there and a district attorney there many years ago that loosened those penalties. She ran for president. They strengthened them in California. Among the proposals that were defeated, they had some school choice measures in Kentucky and Nebraska. In North Dakota, they ran a bill to eliminate most of the property taxes in North Dakota, but that one failed in North Dakota. They also had measures to legalize recreational dope in North Dakota and South Dakota, and those were both failing as of last night. What? Yeah. People were seeing what's happening. Look what Oregon did with their legalization of drugs in Oregon. So when you see all these kind of things, you can stick your finger in the air and somewhat see that maybe the wind direction's changing a little bit. Americans maybe woke up and are seeing what we've done to our country and how we've changed it, and they're not liking that direction. I think that was the whole point of the election last night. People didn't like the direction that we were going. Constitutional amendments in America that said only citizens are allowed to vote, not illegal aliens, passed. Idaho, Iowa, Kentucky, Missouri, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Wisconsin, all passed those measures. You got to be a citizen to vote in an election.
Right.
Who would have thought that? It passed in all those states. You know what they did in Arizona, folks? Voters in Arizona approved a measure making it a crime in their state if you enter illegally from a foreign country. Why? Because they are one of the states like Texas and California that have gone bankrupt because of illegal immigration. And the people said, no more. I'm not paying for those people breaking the law. Yep, they passed it in Arizona, folks. Lawmakers down in Texas, Iowa, Oklahoma, they passed immigration laws. Voters in California took a step towards tougher crime laws. That's right. Felony. Shoplifting is a felony for repeat offenders now in the state of California. And why is that? People saw what the liberal policies did. Breaking into stores, gang robberies, killing business owners. They passed it. Folks, yesterday was about one thing. Americans were fed up with the direction the country was going. And you patriots, you soldiers out there that I saw yesterday standing in that wind, in that cold at Metro Park, in those blustery conditions, damn it, you were going to stay there and fight and take your country and your state back no matter what was shot at you. God, sent chills up my spines when I saw that. And it wasn't only here, as I'm giving you example after example, all all across the country. People wanted to take their country back, and you did it. And I'm never more proud of my country and the people that made these decisions than I am today. But there's still some work to be done yet today with the House, and we'll see what happens there. But we're on our way. We're on our way maybe to creating, once again, a country we can all be proud of and love. You can't do anything with the younger demographics in America. That's just a natural maturization that will happen as they get older. But for most of us, we've seen both sides. We've been there. We've been through good times, and we know what the hell bad times are like. And we much rather would have it good than bad.
Right.
And I think we may have gone over the hump yesterday. So God bless every one of you that stood out there, and God bless America.
Well, all the messages I'm getting this morning, we're not alone feeling this way.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, we'll get rolling. First news coming up, Weird Wednesday with the Flakes here on the Cat.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.